Okay, everybody. So as I'm pulling this motor to reseal it all and to make it easier for me to put on the front suspension kit, this motor leaks quite a bit out the back. I think it's rear main or the oil pan or the oil filter adapter. But either way, I am disassembling the whole top end to make it easier to pull the engine. So we're going to go over a top valve train disassembly and inspection, and I'm already seeing that this thing needs quite a bit of rocker arms and push rods, because if you look at these passenger side, driver side, when you look at these, I'll have a better picture for you. The one on the right here, circle, looks like a dish, the wear. Same with the push rod. The push rod is worn pretty deep into the rocker arm, making the rocker arm pretty junk, whereas this one is okay. The wear is like a Cheerio around the oiler hole, whereas this one's a straight up bowl. So, bowl, 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 okay, bowl, okay. But then on the other side, the pads are quite beat the hell. The indentation of the valve, the back of the valve stem right there. This is not good, not good, not good. Can be reused, not good. And that's starting to get there. There's a small nick on that one, but I could reuse it. But because of this, whole arm not reusable, whole arm not reusable, whole arm not reusable, only reusable one, whole arm not reusable. It's on the fence, but I'll probably change it. So out of all these, one arm is only reusable, so I might as well change them all. Same here. The pad, beat the hell. Up here, kind of hard to see. You'll have a better picture on your screen of a few examples. If you feel it, you can feel the half moon indentation of the valve stem on the head. All the valve stems look fine. This is a softer metal than the valve. But bowl, the Cheerio, Cheerio, bowl, bowl, Cheerio. Out of all these, not okay, not okay, not okay because of the pad. Not okay because of the bowl. Not okay because of the bowl. And this one's the only one that's really reusable. So, and then real quickly, I don't think any of these are bent. I think one's slightly bent right there, but a lot of these are pretty worn down. It's one of the problems of these engines. They have the valve train gets worn pretty quickly. I don't want to say quickly. It's the oiling system for the valves is not that great. The oil comes up through the center post, through the head, and oils this whole rail and through here. There's nothing but oil because there's a plug on either side. Anyway, as I see here, there's only really one arm on each side that's really reusable, and then the rest have to be replaced. Same with the push rods, gonna have to be replaced. I haven't checked the lifters, but when this thing ran, it actually didn't have a lifter tick, so I might just reuse the lifters. But it's going to need rocker arms and push rods for that wear. So I got to pull the heads off and then finish pulling the engine out of here and then put it on my engine stand over there. And then I'll wrap it up. So, real quick disassemble of the valve train and inspection of it. Alright, so continuing on the teardown of the valve train, I got all the lifters out, the heads off, and the more and more I'm looking at this, the more and more I'm finding wrong-ish and worn out, or just needs attention for 200,000 mile motor. But checking the lifters, shaking them. This, I have two of them that clack, so two of them are actually bad, even though I never heard it. And then looking at everything, the cylinder walls are pretty good. This side isn't clean yet. This side is. They're actually not bad. There's a little bit of rust forming on the top of the bore because I washed it off and it kind of sat there. You can kind of feel it, so I can ignore that and it won't be that too much of a detrimental, but being 200,000 miles, I'm probably going to do a refresh, new rings, bearings, and rehone the cylinders on this, because on the heads, if you look at them, you compare every exhaust valve, what the color they are. Notice how this one's darker. This head has a crack in between the valves. This was the driver's side head on number 4 cylinder. That's the front one, which would be this one here. Which this piston doesn't look like it had. Don't look that bad. This side's okay. But I'll have a better picture of it, but you can see how the discoloration compared to this one. This one was probably low in compression a bit because it's leaking out between this crack. And then this cylinder up here, the number 6 on the driver's side, I might have a better picture of it, but there's a crack starting from the intake valve to the exhaust valve. So technically this head is junk. Now this engine never had overheat or loss of coolant or anything that condemned a bad head gasket or cracked head. I just pulled this off to do a refresh and reseal because it's 200,000 miles. The thing leaked oil like hell, and I have it out to do the suspension on the truck, and it'd just be simpler to just go through the engine when I have it out. Well, now I'm going through the engine and it kind of needs some attention to make it a little bit better, because I really would like to put a cam in this engine, one of the comp cams, 422 cam, one of the 2 cams you can buy for this engine, because this thing is a dog and I would like to get some power out of it naturally aspirated. But from what I'm seeing, I got one head that's got cracks on 2 cylinders. This head is okay for now. The valve guide seems fine. But the other thing is these valve springs are not great valve springs for also boosting it, because I'm putting a supercharger on this in the future. So I want to do valve springs for the future. So a lot of stuff I want to do for the future is just adding up, and putting a cam in an engine is actually easier than me designing a intake manifold for the supercharger. So being what I'm seeing now, I have all my parts in like plastic bags, more lifters. Being what I'm seeing now, I might go ahead and pull all the pistons out, and I more than likely will just do a short block refresh, re-ringing, re-bearing, and then resealing, and put a cam in, new lifters, push rods, rocker arms, new heads. I'll probably get with new improved valve springs, all that jazz. Actually spend some money on this motor, which I didn't exactly want to do, but being that I have it apart, I might as well just do it and try and see what kind of power I can get out of a NA 4 liter that has a cam in it with valve springs. And I might make a decent video on how to do that. if I actually do it. I don't know. I don't know how many people want to see that, because this is everything on this motor is original. Head gas is original, heads were original, even probably the pan gasket, which this probably was leaking because the gasket pretty much disintegrated, taking it off. The bottom end looks fine. There's no play in the rod bearings. I haven't took the caps off to look at it. What I also might do, I might put a Melling high volume pump in this, oil pump, because of the lack of oiling of the rocker arms on the top end, just to kind of help it along. But yeah, this is sort of just a show and tell. I'm thinking I will just do a refresh of the short block, new rings, bearings, put a high volume oil pump in it, put the comp cams, 422 cam, new lifters, new push rods, all new rockers, new heads, probably new valves, new valve springs, seats, seals, get some brand new bear heads, and I'll just have the machine shop actually do the head work. I will do the half-ass refresh of the short block, which will be fine. I've done that before. I've done it on way worse motors. And then put it back together, because the other thing is that trans is going to need help too. I'm going to have to go through the valve body of that, put a shift kit in it to hopefully let it last a year or two when this thing actually runs and drives. But I don't know how much more I'm going to put on. I'm probably going to do a mild bill motor. I don't know how mild that would be, just throwing a cam and valve train in it and refreshing it. It's not really that built. It's just going to be, I don't even know what you call it, a pathetic a pathetic freaking cry for power for a 4-liter. We'll see how well that goes. But it's cheaper than me putting the time and money into putting a freaking junkyard motor in there from an LS or whatever. I'm really not wanting to do that right now. I'm okay with just refreshing this, and because I'm putting the supercharger on the thing, I want to just experiment with this. So that's probably it. I don't know if I'm going to put any more on after this. It's kind of a boring show and tell, I guess. Yeah, I might actually do videos of putting it all together, but we'll see. I don't know if anybody really wants to see that or just wants the highlights. I'm done rambling. We'll see what the next video holds.